Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dollar has gone, yeah.
All right, Samin, what the hell is up? Why did we get rid of rally scoring?
I can't wait to actually have this conversation with you. There's two reasons. One, there are 40 million people, whatever you want to cite, 30, 40, 50. There's like a handful of statistics out there of people that play pickleball. 99.9% of them play one way. And as a result, there's this barrier to entry, and we've all experienced it, right? Like, oh, like check out rally scoring. It's like, how does rally scoring work? Like, who's serving, who's receiving? If the person's played pickleball before, and I think we were trying to reverse into appealing to the masses that weren't playing pickleball versus the amount of people that you would argue are sort of a built-in endemic audience. And I actually say like that's was probably the right stance to take when MLP was founded because there weren't 30, 40, 50 million people playing. Remember there was like what was the MO was like road to 30 by 30, 2030 or something like that, right? And then they like
Yeah,
hit it the next year and they're like, "What?" So in my mind, like it made sense at the time the decision was made to go with rally scoring and easier to understand format for the casual consumer who maybe doesn't play pickleball. Now all of a sudden we're seeing like 15% of tennis courts are converted to pickleball courts. Like the amount of people that are playing is astronomically higher than where it was when the league was founded in 2021. And so we had this barrier to entry for how people who play pickleball could understand MLP. And I think it was important to really clearly understand who we're going after. And I think the like casual pickleball player is probably the right first group to go after, especially when there's many of them as there are. So like that's
sure,
like
but
overarching reason one.
yeah, that's fair. 99% of people do play regular scoring, but regular scoring is so much more difficult to figure out than rally scoring for the most part, right? So you've already gotten somebody who's figured out regular scoring. It can't be that hard for somebody who knows regular pickleball scoring to figure out rally.
Yeah, but it's harder. Like your argument is like
Sure,
how
it
much
is.
harder?
It is
But
a.
it
It is harder. There is a jump there. I won't disagree with you there.
And then the second part of this was as we build out what I feel like are all of the things around the game that we need to create in order to make it easier to follow, easier to understand. That's like everything from like a live score ticker on our website to sports betting to integration into other sports apps. Like this entire tech stack was developed around side out scoring and will make it much easier for us to accomplish a lot of those things by also utilizing side out scoring. Now, I'm not saying like rally is dead. It's like it's not necessarily the right time to have it because I think if we get to a point where we capture that 30, 40, 50 million, audience or a portion of it or a meaningful portion of it, like maybe we look to adjust. But for now, like that audience combined with the ability to explain this easily in other channels and in other platforms to fans, I think we like have to acknowledge that that's like step one.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I understand that. And I think that a lot of as you mentioned, a lot of the tech is supporting traditional scoring. It's interesting to say that we're not fully married to regular scoring, and it will continue to be revisited. From just my perspective, I do like the idea of a point going on the board every time a rally occurs. I think that probably a good chunk of viewers would as well. And I think that I've said it for a little while on the podcast. I think that our current form of rally scoring that we play in MLP or played in MLP was deeply flawed, particularly with the freeze. I can't think of another competitive sport where only one team can score at the end of a game, right? And so I've said for a while it makes for great viewing because matches become artificially closer, but from a competitive standpoint, it's a pretty brutal rule. And so for me, I was like, well, I think having matches artificially closer will help people want to watch. And maybe that's a trade off that we're willing to make in the early stages of the pro sport. But eventually I figured that rule would be changed. I also don't particularly like how there's no stacking involved in Major League Pickleball. It's a huge piece of strategy that we see in other sport or in other the other format. So it is interesting that, like, I think there are certainly some pros, right? You know that a match is going to be somewhere between, like, 18 and 22 minutes, pretty much like clockwork, which I think is huge for broadcast and just knowing, how long something is going to planning, how long something is going to be going for. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the initial hurdle of just let's get people to watch, maybe let's meet them where they're at with regular scoring is important. But I like that it seems to me that you've left the window open for reevaluation there, because I do think long term rally scoring, I think, creates a more compelling and consistent product with certain problems that need to be fixed, like the freeze and like stacking.
Yeah, I think that's all like totally fair. And it's the second to last thing we said, which is like meet people where they are. Like we all know a ton of people are playing. We're seeing it in our communities or when we go out or whatever it might be. And pro pickleball just like needs to solve its awareness first and like eyeballs, 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 like and understanding to an extent. And so I think we got to like start there and then get to exactly what you said, like how does this fit the media window best? How does it fit like a 2 hour time slot? Like what does all of that look like? But I am a believer in this is 100% the right step today. And it's the freeze point that you said, it stuck out to me as well, just as like a level of excitement that comes, right? And sort of the artificialness of close games. I also think there's this benefit to side out where there's that like hope factor that we've all felt. Like you could be down 10-0, but if you get that serve back, you're like, all right, we got a chance. Like I might be able to come back here.
Hmm.
And so side out in a sort of elegant way achieves that, oh, like, well, they're down 10-0 2, but they just won that point. Now it's 0-10-1. Like maybe they can make a run here. Maybe even the team's like, all right, we're not out of it yet, right? And so you kind of are able to toe that line between having some excitement, some belief that like the match isn't over, so I want to continue to tune in, while having also a fair, to your point, scoring system where one team wasn't getting penalized for building a lead too early.
Yeah, well, you're an NBA guy. The way that I used to explain that rule was, imagine the team that's winning for the last minute in an NBA game can then only score points by hitting threes or dunking, right?
You
Limiting the
took
amount
that
of
from me.
ways.
I told you that analogy. We were in some tournament, God knows where. I'm pretty sure I told you that. So you better credit me on that one.
I'll credit you just because I really don't remember.
Okay, I think we've all played with that guy who will literally halt play to dry his hands off on a towel. We've all been there. Sweaty high five, the slippery paddle, the sudden urge to sanitize your entire being. In pickleball, sweaty hands are the enemy, but not anymore. 4On Total Grip Spray is here to save the day and your grip. A quick spritz on your hand or paddle gives you instant, rock-solid grip. No sticky residue, no weird smells, just pure, unadulterated control. So ditch the slip and slide and grab some 4On Total Grip Spray. Visit the link in the description to try it for yourself, or go to 4on.se. That's the number 4on.se.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather have